Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hollywood Matt Connolly with the double biceps. It is in the contract. It is a legal requirement every single time we appear on camera. The co-host, co-founder, co-breather of air, co-wearer of clothes in this very room. It is, in fact, the master of disaster, the king of sting, the Count of Monte Cristo. It is, in fact, the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year Award. It is Dave Stockbridge. Stockbridge, welcome to your own podcast.
Well, thank you very much for that. Very warm welcome, as always, Hollywood Matt Connolly. And it's an absolute pleasure to be here, and even more so given our guest today, DFC commentator, doyen, I would like to say, and general mixed martial arts expert
in jiu-jitsu.
His introductions are getting better than yours now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Rich Warner.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. And
Thanks for having me,
slap
guys.
fighting champion.
Slap fighting aficionado.
I've been slapped many times, yes.
Before we get too far into it, then, Rich, your thoughts on your early exposure to the great new sport of slap.
Well, everybody's first exposure was Dana getting slapped, and then
He was practicing. He was warming up. That's how he got the idea.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
I think we're shocked that it actually went ahead after that particular event.
got cancelled.
It was a whole viral marketing campaign.
Could you think of a worse thing to do promotionally for the thing that you're just about to do?
Yeah.
Wow.
The entire thing is ridiculous. The whole slap fighting thing is outrageous to me. Like the fact that Dana White, of all people, who's been promoting fighter safety for the last...
Has he?
Well,
Has he? Since when did he care about any fighting ever?
go in there and destroy
Physically,
each other.
financially, just... You know, go in there and kill yourself.
Since the early days of the UFC, he was all about the safety of the fighters. No, but he was. But for the promoter to be pushing, the UFC and saying, "Hey, we've got this amazing track record of no major injuries, like in terms of no deaths, no permanent debilitating injuries in the UFC ever."
Oh, there's been deaths.
No, there hasn't in the UFC.
Well,
No, in MMA there has. Not in the UFC.
Well, we blame UFC for anything that happens in MMA. So
well, they're the one.
It's your fault, Connolly.
So to have that track record since 1993, and then to turn around and do something that is completely the opposite, where you're literally standing there and just getting smacked.
Is it because philosophically, MMA is mixed martial arts and martial arts is self-defense? And now he's introduced a sport that doesn't permit any self-defense.
We just want you to be hit in the face.
Yeah, that's what we want to see. Although, from what I understand, the viewership is very, very solid. The surprising numbers are coming out of the ratings. So
people watch car crashes too.
And there might be that element to it as well. So is this is this the slap bubble that's going to burst very, very soon?
I strongly disagree with you, Mr. Stockbridge. There's definitely a beard defence. The fluffier the beard, the more protection and assurance you have.
The harder to tell where the jawline is.
Did you? And you notice the difference in the power of a slap that's not hitting the jawline, like just right behind, almost getting. Right behind the jawline, getting much more of the head rather than just swiping across the little moustache.
And are we going to see some MMA fighters pick up on that? And,
we'd be.
Nick Diaz is licking his chops.
Let's go back to Stockbridge. Well, he did slap Dana White very famously when I think Dana did something wrong and he said, "I'm going to come down to Stockton and you can slap me." And
it was Nate Diaz. Yeah,
it was beautiful,
absolutely.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was in front of that big poster that did a big graphic artwork after Nate Diaz had submitted Conor McGregor. And it said, "I'm not surprised, motherfuckers."
Yeah.
So is slap damaging the UFC brand in the same way Jake Paul's damaging boxing's?
Oh, double slur. That's what we like.
Slap fighting is outrageously, ridiculously stupid. I cannot believe it's a thing. And people have already died from it in Europe.
Yes.
There's a guy who got knocked out and hit his head when he went down, and he fell into a coma and died a week later.
Well, they have catches, you see. Have you ever heard of Benny Hinn, the penny Pentecostal pastor that puts out his hands and they all fall over. And they have catches. The same thing, they have catches as well now.
Yeah,
so
but
it's completely safe, I assure
I
you.
haven't seen them catch a single person. Every single one has dropped to them fast.
So does this have the potential to dislodge UFC from that pinnacle position at the top of the MMA world? Is a death or a very nasty looking injury as a result of slap going to tarnish the UFC brand and maybe give opportunity for one of the other promotions to work their way through to that top
CTE
position?
is a real thing, but it takes many, many years for us to find out the damage that's been done on that particular person. And you know, if injury was a concern of Dana, then we wouldn't have anything at all, would we? But going back to the catching thing, they catch them, but then they let them go and walk down the stairs on their own, which is great.
They push him a little bit. Just get off the stage.
But it's pretty much that everybody gets knocked out.
Yeah, it's
Everybody gets
ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's like T-ball, but with humans involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no bat, there's no ball, but there is a hand and there's a face.
Yeah.
So
My major issue with it is, and I think probably you guys agree, it's just that really the word skill is the difference between martial art, I suppose, and obviously being able to skillfully defend yourself and obviously attack. But surely there's no skill in this at all, is there?
Well, I can see that there would be, in terms of technique, to be able to aim and hit in the area you want to hit, with speed and power and those sort of things. But
It's probably on the same level of arm wrestling.
well, in some respects, when
like
it
a
comes
slap
to arm
in the
wrestling,
face right there.
I think
You can slap me.
Yeah, well, I think that the sport of arm wrestling, for instance, has suffered from a few of those incidences of arm breaks, and it's probably best known for the little clips that you might see on YouTube or TikTok of kids arm wrestling and breaking their arms, or there's a couple of more famous incidences on here in Australia on the Footy Show where you had a couple of big burly blokes go at it and egos got in the way, and there was very little technique and there was no intuition or guidance, and before you know it, you've got somebody breaking their arm, and that's what people remember of the sport. And that happens in a very, very small, very minute.
I feel like Dave took my comments seriously.
Well, it happens. It's
coming to a point, though.
Yeah. There is sometimes a point.
No, it is really skillful. After
Not just to what I say, but to this entire
It is.
show.
It's building. It's coming
tuned.
around the corner, and now it's about to land.
It was almost there, and now
there's a lot of strategy and there's a lot of technique in arm wrestling. I'm going to educate you guys on arm wrestling.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
I remember after our first podcast, we turned the cameras off and Dave pulled in. What do you call it, Dave? The arm wrestling table.
The table
into the
Table of
studio,
doom, yeah.
and you guys
Right
taught
there.
me.
It's behind that screen.
well, it was.
Yeah. There's so much to it, and there's you have different moves and different names for all the different moves, isn't that right?
Yeah. The slap.
No, but you're right. Top roll,
The kiss,
hook, yeah.
the top
you
slap.
kiss them like Rocky did to put them off, and
Yeah, that was the thing. No, no, there is a world of difference between the two. But I can see
no skill at all.
Well, I would say there is skill in terms of trying to be accurate and trying to get as much.
My
power.
Muller's accurate.
Well, I
Come
also
on,
think
mate.
it might have been those instances that have maybe inhibited arm wrestling from breaking through into the mainstream. And my fear is that slap is like, it's there, it's on the brink. Somebody's going to get dangerously hurt really, really quickly. But it won't be the slap brand only that's hurt when that occurs. It won't be just the athlete that's hurt, maybe permanently. It's going to be the UFC brand. And that maybe creates opportunities for other promotions, maybe even the DFC. So we've got the Diamondback Fighting Championship, DFC 16.
DFC
and we're up to
slap
16
fighting.
already.
Wow.
Amazing. So
huge.
DFC 16 at Apex Sport Fest 3. For those people that are in Australia, we suggest that you head along to diamondbackfc.com. Grab your tickets now whilst they're still available. There are still some VIP tickets still for sale, so make sure that you jump online right now and get your ticket. Otherwise, you can, of course, catch it on Fight TV. So, but DFC 16, you'll hear this man on the mic, and we've got some of the best up-and-coming talent in the region that's going to find their way into the cage and show us exactly what they've got. But before we get to that point, of course, Rich Warner's already done all the homework. So if you are a betting man or woman, he's the man to have a bit of a listen to. Now, there are a few debutants on the card making their way to the cage for the very first time on the big stage. But there's also a couple of title fights that if somebody glances up and down the card, they'll find also.
That's right. Fans of this podcast, if you guys have watched a few episodes before, you've done some great interviews with some of the superstars that will be fighting on the MMA card specifically, and quite a few names that we've seen previously in the previous two Apexes we've done before, and of course Diamondback MMA has had some hybrid and Sandshoe fights and K1.
Exciting.
It's quite a great mix. Instead of doing like just a Muay Thai boxing ring over there this time and then a cage later, we're putting it all together. So it's all going to be in the cage with some really great, exciting hybrid kind of fights. A couple of Sandshoe fights, 10 all MMA fights, 2 Sandshoe fights, 2 K1 and 2 Muay Thai. These Muay Thai practitioners as well are some amazing South Australian talent as well. So really, I mean, we had a ball the last few Apexes with the Muay Thai. Just amazing performances, and there is a guy particularly who I'm really keeping an eye for.
Who captures your eye?
I really like Harry Horsell. We've had, he's had 3 fights. I think all of them, except for maybe perhaps one, in the Apex Sports Fest. So it's like one a year. He does one fight a year, and it's an absolute smashing fight every time he does it. Never lost, undefeated, and he'll be fighting Sean Curran, who's from Frontline Muay Thai, another fabulous, amazing club here in Adelaide. So a bit of a battle of the clubs there, and I just it's going to be super interesting, that particular fight, but we'll come back to that. We'll come up to that. But, shall we go through and have a look at?
Let's have a look at the card, Rich.
Cool. Well, we're starting off with a couple of debutants in a K1 battle, 56 kilos, with Shannon Ross and Nina Kukovic. I do apologise if I've said your name wrong there, Nina. Kukovic. Maybe.
Could be.
We're talking about Elvis
Sinasek, yeah.
And I was saying Sinasic, and it's apparently not.
The king of rock and rumble, his nickname was.
Yeah. So Nina Kukovic from Cardioflex putting on her debut, and spoke to Ike about Nina. I've been watching her on the social media coming along. She's been training there for a while, and he's going to be interested to see how this one pans out. Not quite sure if she's going to be able to handle the bright lights, but this is the big test to find out. So it's interesting to see what happens there.
And when you do say bright lights, there will be bright lights. This is held outside. It's at the Norwood Oval. You've got all the pyrotechnics. You've got everything going on in front of a grandstand.
Yeah,
thousands of people in the grandstand.
Remember that year when they had all of the smoke?
Yes.
It was like so much smoke going through. I had to wait for the smoke to pass before we could see the fighters come out. So massive fireworks and great big lights and you name it, we do. And of course, Diamondback Ike does an amazing show. He's never ever held back on production, entertainment factor. So if you've got young kids, if you've got families out there and you've never seen anything like this before, come along. It's going to be a massive event lots of events throughout the day, and I love it. I just walk around and watch all sorts of things during the day. Watch you crazy guys doing arm wrestling, and then I love the medieval guys. Yeah. But of course, I'm really hanging out for the stuff that happens in the cage. That's it. This is going to get started off with a banger with Nina and Shannon. Shannon's had a fight before, so she's got a little bit of experience on Nina, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Of course, Ike will have some big expectations on Nina to perform as well. Either way, I think it's a great way to start off the show. Good female fight. It's our only female fight for the card, so good luck to both girls there. Second fight, by the way, 16 fights, guys. 16, so huge. Second fight is a Sandshoe fight. We've got Yianni Palyaris. Now, that's a proper Greek name, isn't it?
You're making it hard for the ring announcer, by the way.
Now, don't you ask me yet about what Dave always asks me is, what's their nickname? We've got to make them up yet. The Greek god Yanni, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd love that. Yeah.
Well, he's from CCMA under Happy Alan Hartley, so he's coming from an amazing club, putting on his debut in a Sanchu fight against Leo Gal, who's got a little bit of experience on him with the 1 win and 0 losses so far, coming from Element, South Australia. You know, Element, a great club with your favourite. Well, one of your favourite fighters in the Honey Bear.
They're all my favourite.
You know, coming from Element, I think he's probably been sitting under Winnie the Pooh there for a little bit of time, and he'll be ready to go as well. So really, really great to see, some not just MMA fights one after the other. We're really mixing it up on this card. So be prepared for, looking this way and then completely changing. And so be prepared. There's going to be real different styles of fights with different rules and so forth. So
what's the Sanchu? Sorry, the Sanchu is the difference between a normal MMA fight and a Sanchu.
Yeah, great question. Well, to be honest, I think the word Sanchu is a way of us being able to legalise a K1/Muay Thai hybrid fight. So it may or may not involve clinching or throws. Okay. So it may be no throws or takedowns, of course, and no elbows as well.
So it's a little bit like it gives, I guess, the combatants an opportunity to lay down their own rule set in some respects. So they can identify.
That's right.
And so that makes it a little bit easier for, say, some of these fighting styles that aren't necessarily mainstream, or that might have otherwise not had an opportunity to be showcased because, well, in an event like this, for instance, the costs of erecting a whole different stage for maybe 1 or 2 fights might not be viable. But if you can take, say, K1 and you can modify the rules so that it's then safely held in the cage, then the fighters get the opportunity, the promoter gets a fuller card, and the crowd gets entertained.
Well.
Yeah,
so if they're not particularly experienced in one sort of side of things, well, let's just not do that. Let's modify it so it's much more even for both competitors. And they both might have not that particular experience into the clinching side of things and the throws and the sweeps.
Technically,
and stuff,
have 2 karate practitioners in the cage and agree to a rule set that suited those guys, and
make them both do BJJ.
Slap fighting.
So that's our second fight, and then the third fight again is another Sanchu fight as well. So this one's a 64 kilos. We've got Antonio Cesaro, the Italian stallion, right?
Okay, must be.
Just make up the name as we go along. He's 0-1, so he'll be looking for his first win. He did fight Liam Hoskin recently. Actually, I think it was at Apex last year, and he did lose via rear naked choke round 1. So he'll be looking to make sure that he does not let that happen again. Get some experience, go all the way through 3 rounds, and hopefully keep it on the feet for himself with a Sanchu fight. Instead of MMA, of course. So that's sort of what we're talking about. Right, maybe you're not so good on the ground. Maybe you need to focus on one particular area. Sanchu might be the way to go for this particular.
Like, I'm not very good on my feet or on the ground.
Me too.
In the air, maybe.
So if we can have an in-air fight with somebody much smaller than me, I may be a chance.
Is this just who jumps higher?
There's no striking involved. No grappling.
Power of the mind.
Yeah. So if I can if I can will myself to victory over my opponent, that's kind of the Sanchu rule set I'm after.
Right. Yeah.
Win every time.
Undefeated at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
Winner of the Dave Stockbridge.
That's right.
Indeed.
Every year. For how many years running now?
Not enough.
No, he did. Vince Colosimo and Vince Ronaldo both took it off him in the early 90s, but
it was
he
a rough
managed
time
to win it back.
So, Antonio, the Italian stallion.
It's true. If you have a look at the plaque, ladies and gentlemen,
It does actually say that.
Look at this beautiful thing behind me. Look at that. Is that just not...
that was
Is this the opposite of what normally happens, where we're trying to get you off track?
I'm pretty easily moved, aren't I?
I was just going to mention that was the prize from 1995, by the way.
Oh, that was?
Yeah, that was my comeback here. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Dave
I thought it was a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's creeping me out. So he'll be fighting Lucas Bigelin from Adelaide Energy, South Australia, on his debut. So really interesting to see.
Adelaide Energy, is a new gym?
I looked it up, and all I could find was AGL and ETSA.
The powerhouses, I believe.
To be honest, guys, I've never heard of this club before. Perhaps they're a new club. Perhaps they've been around for a while and haven't had these fighters come up onto this particular stage.
They're an emerging club.
An emerging club. So
Also
really interesting just to get to know these guys and see what they're all about. And, let's see them on the big show and see how he goes against Antonio, the Italian stallion, Cesaro. But I suppose Lucas Bigelin is kind of a where's that from? You reckon?
Bigelin.
Yeah, Lin, Bigolin.
Eastern Europe.
So the Eastern European is going to
We apologise for the ethnic besmirchments, mispronunciations.
I was going to say that no matter where you said
and general cultural insensitivity.
We should just stop here. So that'll be a great fight for fight number 3. Heating up the energy, fight number 4 at a featherweight battle with Boaz Walker from CCMA in Alan Hartley being the club coach there against Jake Hastings from Cardioflex. Haven't heard much about Jake Hastings. He's obviously a new fella who's come on the scene recently. He'll be making his debut. Boaz also making his debut as well, so not much to say about these young fellas. But look, we know they're from great clubs, and these clubs don't put them out until they're ready. So let's see what both Jake and Boaz can bring to the table there for our one of our first MMA fights of the night.
A few careers beginning on the DFC 16 card. So it was just exciting to see fresh talent come through.
It is. And there's also some names later on who we've only seen a couple of times before, but each time they've presented for our MMA shows or for Apex. Geez, they've been amazing, and so they just come back again. Sadiq Asifi being one of those.
I'm excited to see Sadiq Asifi.
I watched his fight today against
Elvis Sinisek.
Guglielmi.
Yeah, fight of the night, I believe, on that occasion too.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Guglielmi did really, really well. And for that reason that he did really well, geez, he was up against the great Sadiq Asifi, but he held himself so well. He actually he popped Sadiq early in the first round and knocked him on his ass. And as soon as Sadiq was on his ass, he got straight back up and he's like called him on. Okay, bring it. I love it. So both of those guys be obviously not fighting each other, but they've got separate fights as well on tonight's on the card as well. So fight number 5 is a Muay Thai fight. This is where we're getting a little bit higher in the kilogram range of about 98 kilos.
I've seen the big guys at it. Yeah,
the big boys. So we've got I'm going to say this wrong. Abraham Hanifi. The MC's just going, oh, damn it. Abraham Hanifi. He's from Technicians Muay Thai gym there, Kim Johnson, the Technician. So, all of these fighters are very much like himself. So expect a really, really highly technical fight. Really, really great club that is. And he's none and one. He'll be fighting Mark Stansfield from an old club we haven't seen for a while in Toe to Toe. I remember back in the old days, maybe 8-9 years ago, under even different promotions, I think Toe to Toe were represented pretty well and had some really great fighters. Have not seen them for a number of years, but Mark Stansfield's the first one who's going to come out and fight for a little while. He's actually 1-0. He's 95 kilos, whereas Abraham is currently 98 kilos, so they're going to meet somewhere in the middle, I think. They're going to be happy with maybe 98 kilos there. Just under 100. Yeah. Some big boys going to put down in a strike fest in the Muay Thai there. So that's our first Muay Thai battle for the night.
Do you think the fighters will be in the traditional garb and undertaking the pre-fight ceremonies as you might have seen if the fight was in the ring?
Yeah, I think so.
8 corners, then you have to go. I
was just going to say, it could take a while.
Yeah,
they may now. I'll probably get this wrong, guys, but I think. Because there's quite a few little modifications and hybrid sort of fights and stuff, I'm not sure, but they may have.
Why aren't you sure?
I have a lot of self-esteem and I question myself a lot. Yeah, they may actually have some small gloves on instead of the big gloves, which, for big boys to throw down like that.
Wow. Go KO round one.
Might as well slap fight it.
Yeah. Well, 4-ounce gloves? Is that what they're using? Potentially.
Yeah.
Let's say that's what's happening.
Let's just say it. Someone's getting knocked out.
Right, yeah.
But, generally with, even if they have the big clubs, if you're 100 kilos,
Yeah, that's big. That's big. And for a striker and Muay Thai only, that's going to be a huge, two big men getting in the cage to round one is going to be exciting. Right there. Don't blink in that round.
Yeah.
So, fight number 6, all I know about the rules on this one, don't ask me why I don't know. I'm not the guy you expected. It's all I can tell you about this one is it's modified rules. Okay. So, obviously, both camps have come to an agreement on exactly what the rules are going to be.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I don't think it'd be straight MMA. I'd say it'd probably be more of a stand-up fight. We've got Victor Wamayu, who's on debut, and he's 80 kilos, and we've got a 79-kilo Connor Jones from M16 South Australia under Miles Simpson. So he's actually 2-0. So if you're a betting man and you're just looking at the record, maybe Connor might be the one to go there for with that. But let's see what happens in this modified bout, fight number 6.
And I guess if you are a betting man, these are some of the things that you do need to know, because you might have seen one fighter fight under MMA rules and all of a sudden see that they're on the DFC card and in the cage, but not understand the intricacies of the rule set.
That's right.
And how that might benefit the opponent. So stay tuned, guys. If you are putting money on it, these are some of the things you do need to know.
Absolutely. Speaking of betting, I hear there's rumours that there could be a possible play with a betting agency. I don't think for this Apex Sport Fest it'll happen in time, but I think in the future, I think we definitely will be able to have South Australians betting on South Australian fighters, which is great.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah.
Excellent.
So I'll pass you the under the table and see if we can make some money. Not happening. There's a bit to talk about with the world of MMA and betting as well, isn't there?
Yeah, that's true.
Fight number 7, Matthew Clark on debut, 105 kilos.
Wow.
MMA bout against Alex Matheson from Element, South Australia, of course, been working hard under Damien Vola on his debut. So both debutants, big boys coming in to throw down for fight number 7, full MMA bout. So,
exciting.
Good. So,
I don't think anyone has a choice whether they work under Damien Vola or not. He's going to put him there. Once he's on, just when you say it's like that. Yeah, you just picture that he's just sitting on top of him in mount and going, okay, there you go.
These are his. You wouldn't say training partners; they'd be training dummies, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
This is the guys that he beats the crap out of on a regular basis.
They survive, so they now get their own fight. Yeah,
that's exactly what's happened. So fight number 8, Trent Chessel versus Crane Burke. So Trent Chessel is from SACA, SA. This is a new club as well, SACA. Okay. At this point, I'm not sure what SACA stands for.
What do you think it stands for?
South Australian Cricket Association. Yeah. So he's going to come out with a cricket bat. I told you,
he's going to be really
modified
good in the
rules.
They're the best funded MMA club in South Australia.
Yes.
Government grants. Wonderful facilities. Yeah.
So going from the big boys, these are featherweights with Crane, what a good name, Crane Burke. I like that as a fighting name.
Cool name.
Origin behind that name.
Yeah. He's from M16 under Miles Simpson as well. He has had one fight and lost before. Trent's on debut. Be interesting to see what happens there between the new club of SACA South Australia, Trent Chessel and Crane Burke from
Interested to hear more about SACA,
M16. Yeah, I'll actually come up with a better name than the Cricket Association in time. Sorry. Yeah.
I bet on the night you'll be like, the Cricket Association.
I really hope I don't. Fight number 9, guys, MMA again. This is a light heavyweight. We've got Aziz Fatile. That's Fatile. I'm not sure if I've pronounced that one right as well, Dave.
I don't know why you're looking at me.
We will get it right.
I'm really relying on you.
Yeah. And he's from New South Wales, and he's against a man who we've seen fight a couple of times. He fought on the last Diamondback, and he also fought in Apex last year, and he was just probably the standout of the night in Isaac Richards. An absolute psycho guy who is turned from being the Adelaide United goalkeeper, of course, and pushing his name forward into MMA. And he fought that really, really tough fighter. I can't
Smith. The Dreamtime Smith. Wasn't it?
No.
Sure.
I thought you were joking. You just thought, if I throw out a name, I'll throw out the most popular name possible.
Absolutely.
Smith.
Definitely Smith.
Interstate fighter.
It was a Trinity fighter. He was a black guy.
Elvis Sinister.
There is a Reese Smith, maybe that you're thinking of, but Isaac, PJ Van Guyen. That's who it was.
Okay.
PJ O'Brien. Smith.
My memory is terrible, but sometimes it just comes up. Yeah, Isaac Richards versus PJ Van Guyen in his first fight at Apex last year. Or was it? Yeah,
That was last year. Yeah.
It was last year. Nobody expected Isaac to win that fight because, he's just moved over a few months ago from being a goalkeeper. Although he's a very athletic young man. Of course, against PJ Van Guyen, he's been around for a long, long time with Trinity MMA and, very, very skilled and experienced opponent. I was commentating with a Trinity commentator and, behind the scenes, I can assure you they were very confident that Isaac would not win that fight and very disappointed that he did. Geez, he was good.
What was the result? How did it end?
Knockout.
Wow.
Knockout.
Awesome.
It was beautiful. Beautiful. Both fighters had their moments, but he was just explosive. And PJ was more technical, really moving in the distance and keeping the footwork. But Isaac was just a little bit too explosive, and he caught him beautifully.
Who did Isaac fight in at the last DFC?
Smith.
Yes, Smith.
It was?
No.
Sorry.
He lost to...
It's like a trivia thing. So, tell us, Rich.
I know, right? And
Who
then
fought
it's like,
who? This
why don't you know? Because I smoked too many cars.
At least I passed out and knocked my head
Yeah.
after the last DFC, so I've got a good excuse to not remember. But,
Yeah, I'm just dumb.
Yeah, you were
Naturally.
there. Yep.
I can't remember who it was, mate. I can't remember. But
we can come back to it.
yeah, we'll have to look it up.
All right.
So yeah, look out for that. That's going to be a great fight. Aziz, look out because Isaac's coming for your head. He wants to make a real future in MMA. Lost the last one. Always be wary of the fighter who lost last. Put your bets on that guy.
Yeah.
Except for Tiki Gozen.
If you don't know who that name is,
0-4.
you're a casual and look it up.
All respect for Tiki, but 0-4.
I just like his beard.
Yeah, he's a good. He has a defining beard. His
very
beard, he has dyed 3 lines, and they change
dyed?
color. Oh, they dyed. I
I
believe
thought
so.
it was natural.
Really?
I'm that stupid.
They change color.
Do you know, so people have like the streaks and stuff, and it's just naturally there.
It's naturally
Yeah.
purple. Naturally purple.
I'm an idiot. All of these years, it's like 20 years. I've just thought,
Wow, what an interesting way his hair has grown in
Yeah,
like
it's growing
3
out.
lightning bolts.
yeah, just perfectly striped.
Like a tiger.
Moving along from me being, stupid. Fight number 10. Ben Patterson, who's 2-1 from Eagle MMA New South Wales, come all the way down to fight our old buddy in Sam Najoki, the Scratch Man.
Back.
He's back. He's always back.
Yeah, he
He
did.
hasn't missed one of our cards for years now.
Yep.
Made his debut. We talked about guys who've just made their debut and kept on coming back, and just he's never put on a bad performance except for against the great Louis Passon.
Yeah. Well, he didn't get much of a chance.
Hard to perform well against Louis.
Yeah. Well, it was all over quite quickly, so I think that in that set of circumstances, he probably didn't get a chance to put on his best, and But he keeps coming back.
He does, Scratchman, and then that's what the name Scratchman's all about. Being that slower moving performer, and then people write you off, but just coming back from nowhere. He's 1-2. He's got everything to prove. He's a great guy and a great fighter, Najelki. Really, 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 really love him as a fella, and love him as a fighter. Of course, he did not too bad in his last fight, but he's got something to prove against Ben Patterson, who's 2-1. So Ben's probably got a little bit more, the wins on the board against Sam. Big call for Sam to
I think maybe the benefit for Sam is that he's had that experience on the big stage. He's been he's performed at the Adelaide Oval. He's performed at the Norwood Oval in front of thousands and thousands of people. He's very comfortable under the big bright lights. And when you're talking big events, certain people stand up, and so there's some acclimatisation that might be required by his opponent on this occasion. It
was good a month or two ago when Element put on their own fight night. He had his girlfriend. I think it was the first fight of the night that came along. His girlfriend.
Oh, was it his girlfriend?
Yeah,
there you go.
And she got a ninja choke within like 5 seconds and finished it. And he was telling me, I just taught her that just before we went in there, do this, that'll work,
Wow.
And she got
that was all over quite quickly from memory. That was
he's a coach of the future, Sam.
Yeah, and she was a real girly girl. She wasn't the typical girl that's
very feminine.
When I say very feminine, wasn't coming out all staunch and angry face. She was pretty, and she was soft, and she was just like she wasn't about to step in a cage and rip somebody's head off or anything like that. And great temperament and delivered on the night.
The skill, you see, it's all about the skill. We've given her heaps of steroids since then. Now she looks like a man.
She comes out to Rammstein.
Yeah.
It was girls just want to have fun. Now it's Rammstein.
Yeah. That night, that Element fight night, I think the highlight of the night was
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Best walkout music.
Is that the same song?
That's not the same song.
That's I Love You, Baby.
No, that's a wrong song. Sweet Caroline. That was gold.
Who would have thought? The whole crowd went nuts. Yeah. Absolutely nuts. The whole crowd was singing. Lighters were out. Phones were out.
I was up pretending I had
all for a Neil Diamond song.
It was fantastic.
It was insane. Yeah.
Sweet Caroline.
Dun, dun, dun. Good times never felt so good.
So we just want to listen to the song. We don't want to watch the fight now.
I resent that you didn't get involved in that little bit of sing-along there.
And if I knew the words, I would have.
and I think that was a fight of the night or performance of the night as a result of that. And I think it might have been a bit of the energy in the room as a result of the walkout music.
Yeah, that's right. It was the fight of the night.
So up to that point, Joe Brown had my favourite walkout music with Money for Nothing. And but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's going to
adjust the camera there. Sorry.
I'm not sure if indeed. What happened there? Oh, really?
Oh, did I bump it? I bumped it, didn't I? I'm trying to subtly get rid of Hollywood.
And this might be a good opportunity to talk about our sponsor, Roll Clean.
Yes.
Roll Clean, if you are involved in mixed martial arts or you just enjoy rolling around with your friends on a mat, then Roll Clean is the product for you. Not only does it look edible, it makes you smell like you may be edible. Wow. So it's
some people saying it's a fountain of youth. Is that correct, Dave?
What I've heard is 9 out of 10 doctors agree. Today, I believe, Subs was launched. We don't want to infringe on any copyright that might be owned by Johnson & Johnson and say Suds, but this is Subs. This is their version of Suds. Fantastic. So you can wash your gis and your clothes and all the stuff that gets all yucky and sweaty. Get the Subs onto it, and it'll smell and look great. And importantly, awesome. It'll disinfect. And so, and of course, we've got the hand wash, and we've got all of these wonderful bars. They're all available and on offer, and you can head straight over to the Roll Clean website right now and put your order in. Also available at all good MMA gyms. So Roll Clean, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I legitimately have been using, because Kat and Matt, when they came on the show, Matt said that he, instead of using shampoo and conditioner for his hair now, he's just been using that. And I was like, well, let me give it a go. I've been doing that for the last 2 months or ever since I came in.
And
It's been absolutely fine. It's been great. Yeah. And haven't had to use shampoo and conditioner. It's been awesome.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So if you like Matt Connolly's hair, well, you might well like Roll Clean.
And it grew this beard. It's weird. I don't know if it was combined, but
So beard inducing.
it was.
Beard inducing
We'll
properties.
grow a beard for you.
And all made locally, organically sourced products. And Matt Cattle, wonderful people and great supporters of the sport, MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Now, Matt and Kat are really, really well known in the BJJ scene in South Australia, right? But I have a question. Can you use this if you're a Muay Thai person, if you're a kickboxer, if you're...
They said
We'll singe your
Surely,
skin.
right?
they would just simply prefer you don't. No, of course. So whatever your sport might be, they were just mentioning
Sandshoe, even.
So you can make up your own rules with Roll Clean. So yeah, I mean, I think Matt and Kat will also be there at DFC. So if you see them, hit them up, and you know,
Where's my free bar of soap? That's, if you say that, they'll actually give you one.
Yeah, or
got a
choke you out.
Which one is the one that...
I look at them and think,
Pooh
which
Bear.
one do I want to taste, and then and go from there.
Which one tastes the best, though?
Which one is the
I've
one
only tried the one
likes?
with the poppy seeds.
The honey one. What's that one?
There's the selection there. There's original. There is
word that there is
passion
going to
fruit
be
or
a Damien
Can you smell them
Vola
through there?
themed soap. Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of different flavors.
So you've
This
got
one's lemon twist with lemongrass and turmeric.
this one's charcoal.
Charcoal, yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh.
let's
There's a
see.
chocolate one as well, isn't there?
It actually doesn't smell like charcoal, but it's
What does charcoal smell like?
disappointment.
Do you know one of my lines that I wrote down and that I used as a bit of a joke in my commentary?
You might like
in
this
the
one.
last Diamondback.
Was
the
it that
king.
cricket association?
No, I said, oh, and that's uglier than handmade. That's uglier than homemade soap.
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
this
these
is
ones
not homemade,
will prove
ladies
you
and
wrong. They are homemade. These are made here, right here in South Australia.
And
that's
we've
so
got
good.
pink clay and Kakadu plum soap.
Wow.
There's a whole variety of different ones. I'm going to have to try it because the one that I've gone with is the one that you ate. You took a bite of. Been working my way around.
Did he really?
Matt Cat said, "Don't do that," but so I did.
But you
Smell
should do
awesome.
that.
They really do.
Yes, absolutely. Fruit punch.
do
We got
some
fruit punch.
And fruit punch, yeah.
How do they make them smell?
Well, if you
so
listen to
good?
the
I
episode with Kat and Matt, they'll tell you exactly in great detail how they went about it. And it's all locally sourced ingredients. Everything's natural.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I used to do jiu-jitsu, but now I'm old.
Now that
and
you're an
broken.
expert, you don't need to worry
Can
about
I
it.
still can I still use them?
Well,
I'll write them a letter and ask for special permission.
yeah, there might be a release that you have to. Yeah, but yeah. I don't,
Good stuff. Isn't it great to have
Which one-
local
which-
people doing local products for our most awesome industry? Isn't it fantastic?
It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Why don't you take one of those with you, Rich, as one of our
not that
very favourite guests here on the show, and give it a go.
I'm going to use the line that Stockbridge always uses. He goes, "Support the people that support the sports that you love."
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's listening. Wow. It's like you and my mum. Yeah. It's
I do know her, but
Hang on.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Statue
yeah.
of Liberty.
good on you, Matt and Kat.
Yeah,
Great stuff. Great
absolutely
stuff.
amazing.
Roll clean.
Roll clean there. Jump on the website.
Our next fight is
Okay, so fight number 11. We're moving on to another hybrid K1 fight. 76 to 80 kilos, this one. This is the one that we were talking about with Harry the Horse Horsell from Cardioflex. 3-0, not undefeated, against frontline Muay Thai's Sean the Irish Curran. You know, I love watching the Irish. He was also fought on that Element Fight Night the other night, a month or so ago, and I think he won quite convincingly. Really great fighter. He's just, his attitude in life is the way he fights, which is just going forward, very risky. He doesn't care about the risk element, you know. Not much defence going on with Sean Curran.
So you actually see
He's
his
an
personality come through on in the cage.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know isn't it a beautiful thing to see when you see a fighter who, for the entertainment factor, puts his own health at risk. But another guy like that is Manoli Kambouris, a really great fighter. He fought, I think, on the first Apex a year or two ago. Really great fighter there. Sean the Irish Curran, always excellent to watch against the undefeated Cardioflex Harry Horsell, 3-0. This could be the best stand-up fighting you've seen in many a year.
As Rich Warner would say, this is going to be a banger.
A banger. I say that so much. I've got to stop it. Yeah. No more bangers.
No more bangers. It's the no more banger guarantee at DFC 16.
Yeah.
For every banger that you say, we have to donate something.
How many bars of soap do you have to eat?
I'm just going to choose to say they're all nice fights. We've got some really nice fights.
Nice fights with lovely gents.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this one, Sean versus Harry.
Go and give it. It's going to be a banger, isn't it?
Gonna be an absolute banger. Mate, I'm really looking forward to that. So it's fight 11. I could talk all day about that fight.
Round one knockout again, possibly.
You know what? I reckon.
Yeah?
I reckon that'll definitely go past the first round. This one, they're both so skillful that they can avoid a lot, and they can take a punch. You know,
Right.
so expect blood.
Fireworks.
Expect some shots to be taken that you just think no human alive could take that shot, because Harry hits hard. Sean is an absolute beast. He's just amazing fighter. You see it in his eyes. You see the way he comes forward, just reckless abandon.
And seven wins between the two of them. So when we're talking high caliber guys with big bright futures,
You got it,
and you're going to see some of the best fighters at around 80 kilos anywhere in the country, maybe this side of the world.
Yep, absolutely. So that's fight number 11. We've got 6 more fights to go through as well. It's hard to get them all done in a short amount of time.
We're doing well. We're cranking through.
Number 12 is an MMA fight. This is a Perry Smith from Igor MMA. Before we mention that one,
Thank you for the name, Perry, by the way. Thank Mum and Dad for that one.
Yeah, there's the Smith that you were talking about.
I've been waiting.
It's like Joe Brown. So easy. We love Joe Brown.
Yeah. So even his nickname's Vanilla Gorilla. It's the best. It's the best.
Yeah, hold on to your hats because we're going to talk about him in a second.
Oh, look out.
Yeah. So Perry Smith from Igor MMA, one of the most famous clubs in New South Wales there. He's 2-1. He's got some experience. He's fighting one of our favourites from last time, Jermaine Guglielmi.
Oh, yes.
So Guglielmi did super well, and he fought against, we just talked about him, against Sadiq Asifi.
Sadiq, yeah. So and it's awesome to see when a fighter just misses out narrowly but puts in a great performance.
Yeah.
And it was fight of the night from memory as well at DFC 15, and he gets invited back and gets an opportunity on the biggest stage in the country to show us all what he's got, and I don't think he's going to disappoint.
He didn't win, but he won our hearts and he won a lot of respect.
Indeed.
And that's what we want to see, isn't it? You know, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. There can only be one winner.
Yep.
But geez, he was a winner as well. Amazing performance. He copped a lot of punishment to his face. Quite a bit of blood there. I think it was the front lip, broken nose. Maybe an eye or two as well. So really, really good to see Jermaine come back. He's 1-1 representing Chow Kaizen under Chai Kaizen, excuse me. Kaizen stands for the pursuit of excellence, I think.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
And also
We were going to change the name of the podcast to that, but
Were you?
couldn't pronounce it.
Bit cliche.
Or didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
He also represents Rikers Gym, one of the most famous striking gyms in South Australia. Huge, rich history in the likes of Charles August and so forth from there as well. That's going to be an absolute amazing fight.
Yeah, you really feel with Jermaine, it's 1-1, but it's only the start of the journey, and there's plenty of W's coming his way.
The other thing that's going to be different for Jermaine in this fight is before, I think, when he fought Sadiq Asifi, I think Sadiq probably had the crowd on his side. He's going to be fighting a New South Welshman in his home now, so in Germain's home. So Guglielmi's going to have, he won the hearts and the minds of the club, the state, and so he's going to have the whole state behind him against Perry Smith from Igor, New South Wales, who's going to put on a great performance as well. But of course, we're all going to go for Germain Guglielmi. All the best of luck to you, Germain, and let's see you get.
I love it when the fighters that have a difficult name come back for a second fight. It's just good for me.
I spent all that time learning it.
Yes, that's right.
I want to know how to say it.
Beautiful. Fight number 13, guys, is a MMA middleweight fight. Interesting, Owen Barker, who's from Sydney MMA. I think it's MMA West, I think, that he's from as well. Same club as a couple of other fighters on the card. He's actually fought, this is a middleweight fight, but he's fought at welterweight before that I've noticed, And I probably don't think he wants anyone to know that because...
We won't tell anybody.
He's fighting big boy Joe Brown.
Oh, well, Joe Brown is not a small man.
That's exactly right. And, Joe Brown... I think on your amazing podcast, when you guys did that interview with him, amazing episode, guys. If you haven't seen that, please watch Daily Combat interview with Joe Brown. Fantastic conversation you guys had. I got to learn all about Joe Brown, things that I had no idea about. And, geez, amazing story and really, really great to see behind the fighter. But, yeah, he cuts weight really, really well, doesn't he? So... Yeah. With a guy that I saw little bits and pieces on YouTube and had a look at an interview and so forth, knowing that he's fought at welterweight, he's going to struggle in terms of the size, I reckon.
Wow. Because Joe Brown's he's a very, very big, at light heavyweight, is it?
Cuts weight to get to 93 kilos. Yeah.
So, do you remember your conversations with Joe around how much weight he may have gained post weigh-ins at the last DFC event?
I would guess, I can't remember, but I would guess that it'd be something like within a day, maybe 12, 13 kilos.
Well, I don't think it was, but we'll say that.
Yeah, it was big. It was big change.
9 kilos, something like that from memory. Yeah,
it was a big change between weigh-in and in-cage weight.
Yeah. But he really does diet down. He almost looks ill on the scales the night before.
Especially being so pale as well. Pale. And
are you okay? Do you remember Mike Swick when he...
Yes.
Oh, my God. He had a shaved head for some reason, which he had not had before. And he went to a weight class that was like beneath what he would normally fight at. And he looked like a cancer patient shuffling out for that weigh-in.
Yes.
My God.
I just wonder how long it is and if that Joe Brown's going to be able to continue to do that, because he's a big boy and he's growing. Like, he's just naturally growing because he's still filling into his frame, and it's a big frame, and he's got so much muscle maturity for somebody of his relative tender years as well. So it's somebody who's carrying around that type of mass just naturally is going to really struggle to keep getting down to that 83 kilo level.
Such a professional though, isn't
he? And a lovely guy. So
I think it starts, like in your interview when you guys talked to him about, he was in school and he became a bodybuilder in school. So at such a young age, but he's learning how to condition the body to certain things to maximize, and to minimize. So he's, from a young age, he's being able to control these things without any coaches and expert advice and so forth. So, look, Joe's going to smash him, isn't he, guys?
Well, that's
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But it'd be great to see him back in the cage again, and that'll be one.
He's always entertaining, and Money for Nothing was.
Has Joe Brown got a T-shirt? Because I want to get the T-shirt.
We'll have to make one up for him. But somebody else who did cut down to welterweight, who ended up being fantastic in the higher weight classes, Anthony Rumble Johnson. Went
Rest
from
in peace.
Yeah, unfortunately, and he has recently passed away. But he went from welterweight to heavyweight.
Yeah.
And was successful at heavyweight, and then cut down to light heavyweight, and fought for the title, and did a fantastic job, and just had enormous power. But he was dropping down to 170 pounds, which was outrageous. So potentially, maybe that the guy who was sitting at welterweight, maybe he's welterweight was too small. He's really pushed himself up, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Always entertaining, Joe Brown. So we'll definitely look forward to seeing him.
What's the cutting process for arm wrestling?
As a matter of fact, I think.
What are you laughing at?
Well, the AWE promotion does not believe in weight cutting.
It's more the better, isn't it?
As a matter of fact, I think several of our athletes are putting on weight as we speak in preparation for the event. So who would be the heaviest athlete on the card?
Maybe Gunters?
Oh,
no, Marcus Atira.
Oh, Marcus would be, yeah. So
we've got a big guy from Queensland.
Over 150?
He's huge.
Yeah,
he's a big guy.
150 kilos. So
we might need some
MMA
fighter as well.
Yes.
What about you two? Are you guys competing on that?
Oh, well, we're not quite at that level.
No, these guys everyone on that card would destroy us.
AWE is very much like the pinnacle in terms of arm wrestling athletes. So it's
the best in the country are coming down.
I'll give you the very best.
Quick
this will be the biggest card in the history of Australian arm wrestling taking place at Apex Sport Fest 3.
So Ryan Bowen, who is the headlining match against Chance Shaw, who's coming over from Florida in the USA.
Whoa!
So I was.
We've got an international coming.
That's right.
Not just an international, but one of the top 3 super heavyweights in North America.
Come on, Ryan!
Yeah, well, he is the underdog, but this is what, in terms of my ability compared to where Ryan is at. So I was in Brisbane last week before.
I saw what you did to him in the gym.
Well, I think that was a bit of payback.
He's being very humble right now.
But what was experienced on the table?
On the table. This is the thing I'm alluding to. But Ryan, we were on the practice table. He let me get position, as in I had everything on my side, my entire body weight, and I'm leaning an inch away.
How much do you weigh just roughly at the moment?
105 kilos. So I've got everything, and my legs are under the table. I'm leaning back like this, and he's looking at me, and I knew he was going to do something, and he literally lifted me off the ground to get the pin. I went up and over the table, and he pinned me.
And Ryan's weighing about 105, or maybe a little bit heavier right now.
I thought he'd be smaller than you, Matt.
He's put on a lot of size. Yeah.
So we started powerlifting recently, and
did you go to Queensland to give him a few little tips on?
No, I was lucky enough to do a big stream with him there. We had an event happening in Europe, it was in Turkey, and so we did some live commentary there. But we did fit in some gym sessions, which the funny thing was
down their way to YouTube. So if you head over to Ryan Blue Bowen's channel or Hollywood Matt Connolly's channel right now,
with Ryan lying on the floor, and Matt just laughing and going, "Why can't you do this? It's easy."
Matt gained a new nickname.
Yeah, the Reps King. Yeah, but the funny thing about that was, I was there for 4 days. We didn't train on the Sunday because we did the stream thing, but so Friday, Saturday, and the Monday. And on the Monday, both of them were like, "You're definitely leaving tonight." And then it was like, "Can you just look up his flight times, just make sure that he's definitely leaving, because we don't want to go through one of these workouts again."
Let's just drive him there ourselves. Let's make sure of it. Yeah.
So you beat him in the gym, but when you actually arm wrestle, there's no comparison.
He's night and day.
How is that even possible? What is the secret that he's got?
The difference is he's been training specifically for arm wrestling for 10 years.
I think for about 7 years. He did no weights trainings in terms of traditional weight training, and the only resistance training was on his hand and wrist and pronator. So it literally 7 days a week, just conditioning that. And if you do happen to see some of the promotional material that's popping up, you'll notice that there is very little differential between this part of his forearm and this part of his wrist.
It's just
it's
a baseball bat.
It's essentially a baseball
cricket bat.
But both ends of the baseball bat are the same width. Yeah,
it's just a trunk.
It's enormous, and it feels like there is no possible way to actually pull his hand backwards. Like, it just feels like impossible. Like, you could hang your whole body on that.
And yet he's the underdog. He's the underdog in this one. So,
and he's been the best in our country for quite a number of years now.
Amongst the best. But,
that's right. So his training partner is probably classed as number 1 in the country at the moment. Lock On Adair. They had a fantastic super match last year.
140 kilograms.
He's 140.
I said that he was because I what I had heard.
It's like 110 or something.
Yeah.
114 maybe. Yeah. Wow. But yeah, it's very, very successful. But I guess if you want to be the best, you got to train with the best.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, didn't work out for you, but
well, no. But it's what's amazing is being, with jiu-jitsu and you trained and you're an expert, but
I was crap.
but if you had the opportunity to get in with Hoist Gracie or somebody like that, and they're way above you and you've got no chance whatsoever, but you just want to see just what level somebody can get to, and it's like how far above is somebody above me? Like what does the elite?
Because you're a strong
like?
guy, you've been training for 22 years.
Yeah,
you got the biceps,
right?
Yeah.
And doing arm wrestling for 4 years, and you think, okay, I'm doing all right. Surely I'd have something, and you've got nothing. It's like, if you compare it to say in the gym strength, like if I could do 100 kilo bench press, he's doing 800 kilo bench press. That's the difference. Like that's the level of gap between where I am and where he is. So yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
I really look forward to seeing him do his thing and smash the American.
Yeah,
he will have the home crowd advantage, and we will be behind the scenes trying to cheat in every way possible. So I don't know how we're going to figure it out yet, but maybe we can spike the drink. I don't know.
Poisoned horse
We'll
meat.
set some really gorgeous girls up with him the night before, and I don't know what we'll do, but we'll have to figure out where he's staying.
That's right.
I've booked the room, so
We'll have to take him out.
Yeah.
Is that the haunted room? Is that
unfortunately, his girlfriend's here as well, so
Take him
we
out
won't
to
be able to lead him astray.
Hungry Jacks.
Hungry Jacks.
Great place.
Yeah.
Place to be for a new American who doesn't know Adelaide.
No.
All right, so absolutely.
So Joe Brown, that's going to be awesome. We're really looking forward to see that. A lot of these last 5 or 6 fights could all just take the whole card by storm. Really. Going to be absolute bangers if I haven't said that. Fight number 14, 3 to go. Aidan Masoni. He's been around for quite some time in the Muay Thai scene from Young Lion, South Australia. 5-1, really good record. He beat Jaden Clark via TKO round 2 at Apex last year. Really, really good fight. Aidan is a real mover. He's got a very good moving game. The footwork makes everything easy for him. He's a bit of a brawler. He does duck the head upon entry, and I reckon that could be a little possible weakness for him because he's up against a very technical young fighter called Sadiq the Afghan Asifi from Cardioflex, 3-1. Not as great a record, hasn't been around as long as Aidan, but geez, he is an amazing fighter to watch. I don't need to say much more about Sadiq because we love him, don't we?
Sadiq, he's an excitement machine.
He is. Did you see the stare in his eyes? He's got these freaky eyes that just
see straight through you.
Yeah, he's just intense. When he was in the corner, just getting spoken to by the coach, he didn't say anything, didn't move his head,
Just staring at you.
Yeah, and every time he got... I hope not. He's a great... I think we get along okay. but yeah, he's such an intense young...
Coming for you, Warner.
You're next. As soon as I'm done with this, dude, you're next.
I really hope not. Let me stay on the other side of the cage. Sadiq is real technical. Really great fighter to watch. He's
superstar of the future.
He is. That's a amazing fight to watch.
It's going to be a great one. It'll be worth the price of admission in itself.
It will be. It will be. I'd pay good money to see Sadiq fight.
How much would you pay?
Honestly, I would pay $100 to see that fight.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. It's worth it. It is almost a main event, that fight.
Yeah, look, one of the things, if you think about it, like we're all UFC fans and we'll pay X amount for a pay-per-view and so forth. But you know what? Seeing it live in the flesh, not from America, not from Las Vegas, right here with local people who are amazing, humble superstars that you can go and say hello to and realize, wow, this guy isn't just an amazing superstar champion in the cage, but he's also sometimes in the gym, the biggest guy is the nicest guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'll find the same with fighters, isn't it?
That's right.
You know, you
Nothing
don't
to
find...
prove. They're not trying to prove anything outside of the gym. It's, yeah.
Just avoid his stare, though, because it's very scary.
Scary and seductive. So do watch out.
I hope so much that he's staring at you.
Well, you're going to be there. You can sit
I'll be
right
like
next
this.
to
He's
me.
over there. He's there. Look at him. Look at him.
No. I'll only be looking at him through the viewer. 2 more fights, guys. Of course, you know what these fights are. Fight 15 and Fight 16. We've got Gary. I don't know how to say this one as well, Mr. Stockbridge.
I was just going to bring it up because he was kind enough to let me know.
Oh, please say it.
A little Nugamaya.
Oh, Maya.
Nugamaya?
Because it's a B. Have you?
I'm just going to bring it up.
It's
whilst you're talking about the fight, I'll bring up the name.
Neugebeauer. I don't know where that's from.
Where's he fighting from? Oh, we got an audio recording of it. Here we go.
Do we?
It's just Dave going, Nougat.
Nougat boy.
So 60 seconds. So it takes me
Yep.
to over.
That's the one.
That's just another conversation about something else.
That was my girlfriend.
You guys keep on. I'm going to
So
dig
Gary's-
this up because it is here somewhere.
Gary's 30 years old, 2-0. He's a purple belt. From my
wrong account.
understanding, he
Okay.
really comes from a very much a no-gi jiu-jitsu background.
Right.
Very mystic. Yeah.
That was some
Background.
special effects.
That's hard to pronounce that.
We've been working on that. Yeah, here at the Daily Combat Podcast.
He's from a great club in West Sydney Martial Arts. Luke Martin's his head coach.
Okay.
He's also,
Here we go.
coached Anthony Perosh.
Gary,
Okay.
Bauer.
Oh, I missed it. Sorry.
here we go.
Neugebauer.
Neugebauer.
Yeah, didn't you say Mauer?
Boy, saying
Neugat Bauer.
Neugebauer.
Neugebauer.
That's easy, isn't it?
So
Yeah.
Neugebauer.
I'm going to go to sleep with that in my head now.
Yeah.
Neugebauer.
Neugebauer.
You should set that as your message tone.
because he said if Rich Warner fucks that up, I'm going to punch the shit out of him.
So straight after seeing Sadiq look me in the eyes and shit myself, I'm going to be, screwing with Mr.
Yeah, the
Neugebauer.
Message here, just don't fuck with me, get my name right. Not like the last guy. And that other commentator, what a dickhead. I can't... No. No, he was lovely and very gracious and and kindly offered me a voicemail, so I didn't fuck it up. And
that's awesome.
so hopefully I don't get the shit kicked out of me.
Neugebauer.
So, yeah,
Neugebauer.
Neugebauer.
Maybe German?
Eastern Europe.
Potentially.
Racist.
Germanic.
So yeah, look, he's I believe a very good grappler, and it's going to be really interesting, of course, because he's coming against our superstar, most lovable Honey Bear character in the wonderful and lovable Damien Honey Bear, coming for the Honey Vola from Elements South Australia, 4-1. Who on your podcast, put the call out there. It's time for a belt, and he'll be looking for belts in the next year all across the country.
He's
This
collecting the.
is
He's
going to be his
collecting them.
first or second one, because he got one 4 weeks ago.
That's right.
Is it XFC? I think it was.
XFC,
in,
with
Queensland,
the beautiful sheepskin on the
What a
inside.
lovely
First
belt.
round knockout.
Yeah, very impressive belt. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, impressive performance, but the belt's quite spectacular.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
that belt was. I
Oh, was
was
it better
very
than-
impressed
No.
with that.
I was an amateur.
Can't be better than our belts.
Have
you
It's pretty impressive.
It's not about size always.
But Gary's going to be on the podcast next week,
Awesome.
so very exciting. So
Is he
Gary-
really?
he certainly is. Yeah,
Gary, who?
Next week?
Gary Neugebauer. Neugebauer.
That he's coming down early.
He's not coming. He won't be in studio, but
I
he
see.
will be. He will be
In
beamed
spirit.
to
Well,
us.
please ask him a
live.
billion questions, because he's a bit of a
What-
dark horse.
Okay,
There's no footage of him anywhere.
let's go with what would you like to know about Gary Neugebauer?
I'd like to know
Favorite color,
in
song,
his two.
place to go to dinner.
What's his favourite takeaway? He's got 2-0, right? And look, I can try. I try and read into a lot of fighters before, where there's no footage, there's no interviews, there's no commentary.
This could
there's
be
no
a
summaries,
Daily
anything like
Combat
that.
exclusive, then perhaps.
Well, firstly, has he hidden the footage for a reason? Secondly,
Ooh.
the 2 wins that he got, they're not on Tapology, they're not on Sherdog. These are sites that you'd know
You'd
well,
reference.
Matt.
There's
you'd
a
reference to see.
database that explains most of the fights around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can pop in a name, and generally someone's going to come up, especially someone who's
Rich
2
Warner, 5-0.
0. You'd see, okay, how did he win this fight? What round was it? What type of submission? Was it a knockout? Did he go to decision? It's going to tell you a lot.
So who did he have to take out to get that information?
Yes.
Scrubbed from the internet.
Who did he fight? Which competition was it in? I know that he's had lots of jiu-jitsu, especially no-gi experience in competition. He's 2-0. I'd like to know all of the details on who and how he fought. And, of course, I believe that I'm probably making assumptions here, but you try and look into their club as well. What does because clubs have flavors, don't they? This one's strawberry, this one's chocolate. I believe
much like roll clean.
was it turmeric,
Lemongrass and
Wow.
fruit punch.
But they have lots of different flavors, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not just 2.
No.
Then that's the problem with roll clean. It's like, oh, geez, which one do I choose? So yeah, I believe he's really predominantly got more of a no-gi jiu-jitsu background with his club there. Of course, not to say that they don't do MMA. Absolutely, they do MMA. He's got a fantastic coach in Luke Martins, who's also been associated with Anthony Parosh.
So maybe if he doesn't already
Former
have
UFC what's
Australian star and a bit of an icon.
that word? Alumni.
Well,
Yeah.
Anthony Parosh, I'm not a fan of his because I always thought he's too old, he's too slow, right? Remember Anthony Parosh?
Yeah, he came in for the UFC Sydney.
I always put my dollar bet against him, and I lost every time. He was amazing. The odds against him were just
Tremendous.
6-1, or something like that. No one ever thought he would win, and he always did.
Except for when he got flatlined
That
by
last fight.
Yeah, I think it was Mauricio Hua. Or was it him? Somebody I think within 7 seconds, Parosh was out.
It was
cold,
not pretty either. It was really ugly.
But he
was
is
terrible.
a world caliber fighter, and if he's training under that gym, and then we'll see if the knowledge gets passed along to the other students.
So Gary the Enigma Neugebauer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get all the info for us.
Okay.
Because I think, it's going to be a bit weird because, you being really best buddies with the Honey Bear, coming for the Honey Damien Vola, it's going to be interesting if you air that before DF or before Apex Sport Fest. The information
it's all getting out there.
This is live right now.
We were using it to promote the big event, so we definitely want as many eyeballs on the big fight as possible, because this is for the DFC lightweight title.
Yeah. And we know that Damien is a great wrestler. He's an amazing wrestler.
Light heavyweight title?
Light heavyweight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's for the title.
Did I say light heavyweight?
You said lightweight, but that's okay.
Did I?
Doesn't matter. Light heavyweight title. Yeah.
Did I say lightweight? Damien, you better start dieting.
That's why I was like, hang on a minute. Wait.
Yeah, Damien's he's
not
going
going
to be
up.
shredded for stereos.
This is the thing, though. Damien's got a strong jiu-jitsu background. Gary's got a strong jiu-jitsu background. I don't think Damien gets beaten very often in jiu-jitsu at all. Quite many people have underestimated him. Cardio Flex boys have underestimated him. We called him the Cardio Flex killer for his first few fights because he just took out one after the other. For that reason, I think they underestimated his grappling and his strength in that clinch. If he can do what he did last time, which is quite a strong possibility, I think it's going to be a quick night for Gary. Much more experience in 5 fights versus 2 fights against Gary. So
it's Damien coming for the Honey, Pooh Bear, the Cardio Flex killer Vola. I'll just get that right. Yeah,
Any
I'm
other
going to need a
names that
bigger
we're going to
card.
give him on the night as well. Damien's been very nice in allowing us to call him lots of names.
Doesn't seem to mind. It seems to give him more power.
Yeah. So look, I don't know how you're going to treat Gary because he's the enemy.
Oh, well, we're all friends here on the podcast, so
We don't have favourites.
We've got outside and inside
Except for our
Liars. Gary, you're the enemy. Good luck to you, Gary. We're going to respect all opponents.
Yeah, we really look forward to seeing you on the podcast, Gary. So,
Yep.
and hearing a little bit more about your story and maybe colouring in some of this shady background that you've been unable
that's the
to
thing.
uncover.
If he does, if he does
it's
come
mysterious.
Across, that's right. He's coming out of the shadows. But if he does win the title, then he's won the light heavyweight DFC champion
Out of
and-
nowhere.
Yeah, well, you would want to know more about him. So
Yeah.
Maybe ask him what hotel room he's in as well.
Yeah.
We can figure that out and see if
What
we
the-
can
what his pin number
spike
is.
his drink as well. And for, of course, the last fight, guys, we've got fight number 16, Brandon White, who's 2-2-1, who's fighting, of course, against the Junkyard Dog, Louis Hassan.
Louis Bill's a friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, I think our highest rated podcast to date.
Oh,
You got 1,000 views in like a couple of hours, I think.
Yeah.
wow, yeah. He's an attractive, will bring a lightning rod of activity. Louis Payson, he's headlining this match, and he's the Junkyard Dog
it's
for
got
a
so many
reason.
views because you weren't there.
It's probably the reason. I was there for the original one.
There's been two. Yeah, we did have two. Yeah.
Oh, you did too.
Yeah.
that's
I
right,
think
you
we
did.
had a technical difficulty. There was
The thing is sucked because the audio. One of these video cameras turned its own microphone on, and we had an echo for the entire thing, and I can't remove it. I've even seen an audio engineer and everything, and it was like, nah. But anyway, it was great to have Louis back, and he
It was a great interview,
yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
Great
there you
interview.
go.
Really enjoyed watching both of those shows that you did with him.
They go well when Matt's not here. And
Could you just leave?
I've just cut myself out.
I was trying to push the camera before, not getting him on the screen. He's just too good looking. What can I say?
and Brandon White will be on the podcast as well. So we look forward to. I know this is
You cover so many bases, guys.
Oh,
As an MMA fan in South Australia, if you're not a fan of this podcast, you are a casual. Fuck off. Yeah, come on now.
So the big fight. This is what it's all building up to. There's 8 hours of combat sporting action that builds and culminates to this very moment. And Brandon White is going to be on the big stage, standing across from the cage from a hometown favourite in Louis Passon, who's going to have everybody he knows and more. And it's going to be perhaps even overwhelming in some cases for these young athletes as they step onto a stage of this nature and have all the attention of thousands of people upon them. It's
when Brandon makes his walkout, it's going to be quiet, and then when Louis makes his walkout, you're just going to hear everybody erupt, aren't you?
and if Sweet Caroline's on,
Yeah.
What's a good walkout song for Louis, you reckon?
Well, his nickname's the Junkyard Dog, so maybe something related to that. But I think regardless as to what he picks, he's going to get a massive
that?
reception.
have you got some thoughts?
Here comes the dogs out.
Oh yeah, that could work. Yeah.
What's that? I haven't.
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out? That's I don't know.
Maybe Brandon can usurp that and just put him off his game a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's his edge.
Maybe we'll call
Yeah.
Brandon the Pussycat White versus the Junkyard Dog.
Well, yeah, but we'll have to have a chat to Brandon about what
Get his nickname.
what kind of nickname he's leaning into at this stage
He
of his
has
early
fought,
career.
He's fought here before. He fought against the Olympic judoka in Steve Brown, and he lost to Steve Brown in DFC 10. That was the DFC 10 we were talking about before in 2020, so only 2 years ago. He is a really, really composed fighter, Brandon. Really well-rounded striker, I thought. Really, really good distance manager, great feet, really nice low and high kicks, and he doesn't waste movement. He's clever. So, yeah, interesting to see, with the movement, that's key against Louis, isn't it?
Yeah, Louis is so aggressive and that brawling style. So, yeah, the key is going to have to be that you're going to survive those early onslaughts and find your moments to.
And Louis proved in his last fight, you talked about it as well. A really great point that you guys talked about was that he proved to everybody, I'm not just a brawler striker. I can take it down to the ground, and I'm skilled there as well. So, it's great seeing him have a quick finish, but last time he drew it out for the experience, and I think he was having fun, and he was not showing off so much, but you know what I mean.
Showing us what he's got.
Showing what he can do.
Showing us all the skills.
So he's a well-rounded fighter, Louis. Don't underestimate him. Let's see what happens against Brandon, who I think is maybe a little bit more of a striker. So that could be fight of the night.
And
too.
this is for the lightweight, not the light heavyweight.
That's right.
This is the lightweight.
Yeah. We'll get it right.
Yeah,
That's it.
for the lightweight belt. So somebody will be walking out of that cage a champion.
70 kilos.
Yes.
Lightweight. I think 155 pounds. I think it's about 70 kilos for Australia.
Yeah, 70.3.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that would be great. So on the night, you will be the man on the microphone that everyone will hear when they're watching the live stream, which is on Fight
TV. Everybody, you know, save up your dollars, and if you can't go to the day and things happen, get and watch the event on Fight TV, guys. You know, I love Fight TV because you get to watch all sorts of different MMA stuff. But it's great to have us on there. We'll try and make it as super interesting as possible. I get a little bit excited, to be honest. We scream and yell. And by the end of the night, I guaranteed, or every time, isn't it true, Dave? We pretty much both lose our voices.
There's not much left.
With 16 in a row, though, it's going to be tough. So,
did you try to pace yourself at all?
Don't be silly. I'm completely irresponsible. What I do, the worst thing about Apex is not just a normal Diamondback MMA event, because I'll be there from 10 o'clock in the morning cheering all of the other stuff on like an idiot.
Yeah.
I really like I watch the jiu-jitsu, for example, and you have all your buddies fighting and stuff, and it's really difficult not to yell out and scream, and you know, and I really have to watch that. So
as a recap, Rich Warner, of those fights that we've just spoken about, the 16 fights comprising DFC 16 at Apex 3.
Apex
Sport Fest 3.
Sport Fest,
yeah. What are the highlight fights for you?
Well, you know, the top 6 fights, the last 6 fights of the night, any one of them could be, you know, the best. But they're all very, very high quality. Sean Curran versus Harry Horsell. Look out for that. It could go either way. Harry could lose. We don't want to see Harry lose. You never want to see an undefeated streak lose. You know, but he could, because he's up against an absolute formidable opponent against Sean. We talked about the fact that he doesn't care about risk. That's probably what you need to do to beat Harry. You know, you've got Jermaine Guglielmi putting on a show last time, and expect the same from him again. We've got Sadiq Asifi, Joe Brown, Aidan Massoni, really, really good stand-up fighter. Of course, we've got Honey Badger. We've got the coming for the Honey Vola, and we've got Louis Passon as well. Some really, really good fights as you know on those top 6. The last 6 fights really culminating. You know, of course, we've got 2 belts, which is the last 2 fights. But aside from the belts, the previous 4 or 5 fights as well are absolutely top class opponents coming
Bangers,
together.
maybe.
Bangers and mash, mate. Bangers and mash all the way. Yeah, so, you know, we've got, starting off some really good debutants, some really, really good clubs, really good experience, but, you know, you'll see it heat up, and getting, a better and better, more skillful performances. And we'll start to yell louder and louder as it goes on. So, I don't know, mate. I can't really pick out one. But, you know, probably my favourite fighter, I'm going to change from Joe Brown. I love Joe Brown. I think I'm getting on the Sadiq Asifi, the Afghan train.
On the Afghan train. Wow.
What's not to love? The kid has not ever put a foot wrong. And if he ever gets hit, he just goes, come on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it now. Rich Warner, ladies and gentlemen, he's not only is he DFC's doyen behind the microphone, but he gives you the insights and the knowledge that nobody else has on some of Australia's the best up-and-coming talent. So, ladies and gentlemen, certainly tune into Fight TV if you can't make it to DFC in person, and that's at the Norwood Oval, 25th of February, Apex Sport Fest 3. It's an all-day sporting spectacular. Doesn't matter what you like, if it involves strength and combat sports, anything athletic, well, there's going to be something there that you will love, and if there's no sport that you'll love, there is one man, and that's Rich Warner. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together one more time. Rich Warner, and we'll see you all at Apex Sport Fest 3.
All right.